co-host Mike Ficca. Welcome, Mike.
Hey everybody, how are you?
So tonight is another installment of the Go Dex webinar, and we want to welcome you to dextrader.com. If you're watching this video, if you're watching it on one of the other sites, that's okay. But you were probably invited to here to dextrader.com because we wanted you to see some of the process that you have helped pay for and help be a part of, as well as if there's any new people in here. If you type in the word new into the chat room there, we'll know who you are so we can make some declarations to you so we can help you along the way here as well. So we can also get a pulse of how many people in the room that are new tonight. If you haven't bought in, welcome, Tina, and thank you very much for joining us. Wait a second here, see if anybody else. But the Dex Trader family, Dex network itself, Dex signals. Oops, hang on one second. Got to get rid of the annoying. I call it noise, like an alarm clock for the signals. But there is in all of our process, Dex signals, Dex indicators, Dex Trader. We have made this program in order to help as many people as possible meet their idea of success. Is that right, Mike?
Yes.
And Michael Ficca, who's my co-host tonight, some of you already know who he is, some of you may not. But Michael started out as a customer just like everybody else started out, except for me, Amy, and Brian, right? And maybe Paul. Paul was more than a customer way back when, right? Paul Davey, you'll probably meet him inside. But Mike started out as a customer. And Mike, being a customer, going through it, began to invest in himself, began to invest in his future by doing a certain thing. Mike, what did you do prior to this?
Prior to trading?
Yeah.
A DJ.
You DJ.
Jockey.
Okay. Have you ever been a professional trader prior to?
Never.
Okay. You didn't like work for like Goldman Sachs or something, or?
No.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry. Neither have I. Right. So I can't say that anybody that's in my network right now, I don't think I have any actual prior to pro traders in there that are doing well. Isn't that weird? I actually have met hundreds and hundreds of people through the system, and I've only met 2 or 3 pro traders, people that, hey, I traded the stock exchange, I was on the floor, or I used my Bloomberg device, I did all that stuff. You know why? Because those guys overthink the pathway to this system. Not just to my system, but to a lot of different systems. They think that they need the technical and the overbearing and the big giant screens and all the charts and all that crap, right? Mike, do you need all that stuff?
What's that? The charts?
Oh, yeah. The charts are all that great, all that big stuff you see. Those big Bloomberg devices with like 6 or 7 windows in them, and
not
all
me,
that stuff.
not anymore. I don't need anything but a signal.
Right. And the signal system now. You can learn, and here's what I tell a lot of people. If you want to learn how to do it, and you don't want to be dependent just upon the signal, like you want to know why the signal hits, right? That's fine. Dex indicators, head on over, get yourself an account, get through the 5 training system, do what Mike did, right? Go through that boot camp, get that whole thing, right? This could be just like a giant series. And then if you want to kind of wean away, maybe just a little bit, you want to know just a little bit, then head to Dex Signals and do it. But if you don't want to be bothered on other stuff, you don't want to be bothered with MetaTrader or anything else, head just right to Dex Trader, right? You don't want to mess with anything else. You just want Dex Trader. It's got web-based charts if you want to learn how to read charts. You want to learn if you want to know what all the stuff is inside a chart and what it does and all the different indicators and all that stuff. There's going to be hundreds of videos in there of different training things on that chart, which is coming out in the next 2 days. We were hoping that it was going to be coming out tomorrow morning. We were hoping it was going to be done over the weekend, but when I got sick last week, apparently I stalled everything, right? Me getting sick stalls everything. But apparently I stalled it with the other program too, because I made him sick. So go figure. He was more sick of work than being sick, but there's a lot of parties going on apparently at the end of the year. But where we're at right now is in figuring out that the human element, the people that are here in this room, the people that show up every day to be a part of a system bigger than themselves, those ones that want to make themselves into a pro trader, are really about trying to find what has been holding them back and removing it. You realize that, right? That a lot of this is psychological. Most of you want a system. You want a process. You want a software to tell you what to do. But let me tell you, if I could hand you a bat that could hit you a home run 96 out of 100 times, guess what you still have to do? You have to swing it. If I could give you a piece of software that could trade, that would tell you, hey, go trade, you would still have to follow the rule to go trade. I can't give you something that you just push a button and it puts a trade on for you, or it does the trade for you. I will never make one of those systems. I am sorry. And if you want one of those systems, there's 1,000 other companies out there that will make it for you, but it will be fake. Because let me tell you, folks, no company in their right goddamn mind is going to give you access to trade automatically to their system and allow you to do well. If you find one, let me know and I will buy it for you and we will both use it to death. But I can tell you right now, you won't find it because it doesn't exist. I've looked at thousands of companies. I've looked at hundreds and hundreds of different softwares, different strategies, everything. We built a strategy tester to try to figure out what strategies work the best and at what times. We created data processing systems. We've created all these huge servers to do all this great, wonderful things behind the scenes. The signals aren't just made by some gopher throwing a dart at a board with a bunch of numbers on it. This system is really about using the data that we've collected. So tonight is going to be one of those nights. Now, Mike is going to be doing his own webinars. He's sort of joining me tonight, and I'm going to talk a lot. And I'm sorry, Mike, if I invite you these things to talk, but
Fine.
you are hearing a lot what's going on. You're being a part, and people hear your voice. Okay, so I do apologize.
No, not at all.
Yeah, the gopher system would be pretty cool, Dan says. Okay. Your cats would eat the gophers anyway. But let's get started tonight. Tonight's going to be a little bit about if you're brand new, if you just started out, maybe you haven't been here before, and you want to know a lot more about who Dex is. You're going to hear a lot about who we are as we go through this. But for the most part, okay, we're going to get started. I'm going to teach you a little bit tonight about a pathway, right? Tonight's webinar is the pathway to your trading success. And I know this, oh God, it sounds so hokey now that I say it out loud, but literally it's true. This is a pathway. There's things that you're going to have to learn while you're walking this pathway. And basically, every new trader is going to learn about the tools that you have, okay? Because most of you think, and let me ask you a question, okay? Inside the room, anybody who said that they were new, okay? What tools do you have to trade with right now? Tina, what tools do you have to trade with right now? What's your biggest tool for you personally? If you haven't been trading before, that's okay. If you're just absolute newbie, you don't know anything about trading yet, that's fine. But if you have been trading before, what tools do you have right now to help you trade? And most people, when they answer this question, when I ask them, what tools do they have? Most people can't answer it. Charts, indicators, probabilities. Very good. Those are three really big tools in your life. Okay. Each one of those tools has a process of rules and bases to them, right? And so how sharp those tools are, how well you know them, how well you work with them. Got kicked out, power outage. Oh, okay, you're kicked out. That's okay. I'll bring you back in here in a second. See if I can find you. There you go. There you go. Glad I didn't ask you a question. But those tools, those things that you learn, you begins to figure out how to hone those skills by repetitive usages of those tools, right? Most people, when I ask them that question, they're like, I don't know, I'm looking for tools. I don't have tools because every time I get a new tool, somebody gets in the way of it, or it chooses that it ends up hurting me more than it helps me, right? So let's talk about the tools we provide here at Dex, the family of systems here, on all of our systems combined. Each one has its own set of tools, some more than others. Okay, but let's talk about the so tools that we have at your disposal when you first start on with us. The big ones right away, all right, it's the meat and potatoes, it's the concepts, it's the forefront of the foundation of this network, and that's the signals. And in the signals, we have a daily signal and an intraday signal. The daily signals arrive 6 times a day, okay, with trades happening at 7 a.m., 7 p.m., 11 p.m., 11 a.m., and 3 p.m., and 3 a.m. And those daily signals have two ways to trade them: working orders or choke ups. And it's okay if you don't know what these are just yet. You will find out. The working orders that are set for those particular dailies have about a 20% to 30% fill rate. That means that when you get there, yes, you're not going to have a market price that you're going to be able to get into. So you put one on that you want to have, usually about $20 to $22 worth of profit. And it has about a 20% chance of filling. And I know you may not think that's maybe a lot of trades per week or month, but when we put out over, I think it's like 400 daily signals a week, I'm pretty sure you're going to find something in there. That means that there's about 20 trades that you could possibly do at that time. But listen, it's not about how many trades you do, right? It's about how consistent you can make the trades that you do have work. And then we just simply add volume, and we'll talk about that equation a little bit later. And you also have a second way of doing things, and that's called a choke up. This is where the strike or the statement price that is on the daily happens in 20 pip increments. And you can choose to choke into the direction of where the market's going, called more into the money, so you can actually create a better market price for yourself. Now, this choke up is not just done all willy-nilly. I'll just go add an extra statement to it. You're actually using a lot of data system in there that we have called the DPC, which is down the bottom here, which we'll talk about in a second. And that information, even if you don't have that, there's other ways to do it with the spreadsheet that we provide with the daily signal by previous signals that have happened prior to. So there is a very powerful solution in there just for dailies, for working orders and choke ups. And those two tools, that one tool alone for the daily with those two side tools of working orders and choke ups. Hey, Mike, does that take any chart knowledge?
No.
Absolutely none. No chart knowledge whatsoever. So, and it takes no indicators either, does it, Mike?
No.
Okay.
But
so just, but what? Go
ahead. You do want to learn that just so you know what he's talking about. Definitely.
Eventually, if you are the type of person that wants to know more about it, then start at Dex Indicators, start to learn the charts, get that feel on how to do that, and become that. But in all actuality, it's your personal preference if you want to learn that. It doesn't always have to be learned, but his preference is that he wanted to learn them, so he went to Dex Indicators, became that type of trader. Does that make him a better trader than you? It may not, because sometimes learning how to do the charts and other things may add on extra filters into your head that may confuse you or make you worried more about it. Analysis paralysis kind of stuff. So it doesn't always mean that charting is better for everyone. It is better for Michael. It's better for some. Me personally, I use this right here. This is what I use for my success. I don't even use charts. Some would painfully say, why are you even bothering with anything else then? Well, because I know there's people like Michael. I know there's people like Tina who want to use charts, indicators, and probabilities. I know there's people like Ken and Paul, and there's other people out there that are dying for the reality of what a company like this needs to be, and it needs to be transparent and honest and upfront and about its people. So I'm willing to bend those to make them work for. So does this mean I trade? Because my life is in two parts, right? I run Dex, but yet I also trade. So my trader me, right? My trader's mind is a dailies guy, right? That's what I love. I love the dailies. I love the choke ups, right? I love those high numbers of success. Even though I don't get into very many of them, I still make $6 grand a month. So I know using CVG in that process, I make a decent living a month. Okay. Now, the next tool in the belt may take a little bit more risk and a little bit more effort, but they provide a lot more substance, lots more structure, right? And that's the intradays and putting working orders and straight trading with them. And this is where Michael lives right now. He didn't always live here, did you, bud?
No, he did not.
Okay. But listen, when you get to a certain level that you start out like going to boot camp, and then you get through boot camp, and then you go through an additional school that helps you learn your craft, and you begin to hone it more, and you get out into the field. You're like, holy crap, this is nothing like what boot camp was. This is like, I got all this freedom, I got all this work. What do I do now? And you get to a point where you come into your own style of trading using these methods. Okay. So those two processes, again, working orders, the same kind of process together, and straight trading, of course, just going in and clicking on an active market order and placing your trade on, right? Knowing to never trade the news, because we start to learn our next tool, which is our news system, which is provided by our friends over at investing.com and soon by Forex Factory. Okay. And knowing when to and not to enter trades. Now, in the dailies, you can sometimes work around news. There's sometimes, there's forgivenesses. I like to use the news as an excuse to take off, right? I apply it to a calendar, and that's probably another sub tool in the system, and that says, "Hey, Max, you can trade within the next, in the next half hour, you can start trading for the next 2 hours," and that's what I use my Google Calendar for. And I'll show you a session inside later on here as we get the new training system up here, that you'll be able to follow me do that and see how I use my calendar to give me to use it as a tool. Okay. But some other great sub tools that are in the system. The DPC, the Data Processing Center, is another big tool for Dex Trader people. Dex indicators and Dex signals don't have, but listen, it is a tool that we put a lot of money and effort into, and it's one that is definitely worth it. If you find yourself that you don't want to live without it, then jump over to Dex Trader. We'll give you a good deal for being here, for being customers and all that. If you're not a customer just yet, and all this sounds super appeasing for you for not worrying about software, not worrying about all that stuff, then just jump right into Dex Trader. If you don't want to learn all the other things, that's fine. It's not cut for everybody, but Dex Trader is really kind of cut for everybody, because no matter where you start at in the system, all roads lead to Dex Trader anyway, really, right? Do you agree with that statement, Michael?
I do, 100%.
Yeah.
I learned today in the DPC all that information about the auto UST, and
Right.
it got me a win.
And
I never would
sometimes
have done it.
just a little extra information goes a long, long way.
Mm-hmm.
Tools continued. Some of the other tools that you have at your disposal are pretty cool. You have a chat room, and there's a chat room inside that's filled full of chock full of a bunch of traders. I think we had something like 29 people in there or something. Stop. Here we go. Wait. I blew it. Hang on. Let me get in there. There we go. Yeah, I know. Your name is Max. All right. So this is the actual system behind the scenes, right? And I'm doing this a little bit early. Dex Trader is the easy button. That was easy. Yes, it was. But here's the signals page. There's the dailies. Here's the intradays. All very simple to get into. Here's the DPC. Pretty cool, right? Because every single signal that we have put out. Look at that. Look at that. This is the daily success rate today. We haven't lost a trade. We haven't lost a signal yet today. Right? That's pretty powerful. How many systems out there do you know can say that? I don't think you can. And if how many trades are there? This is a margin of 25. There's 50. So right around 40 something signals today on the daily signals going out so far, and not one has lost yet. And you can kind of see quickly as you go back through and start really looking at there's a loss, back on the 3rd. God, I hated that day. It was the worst loss ever. No, I'm kidding. I didn't even take that trade. But there's another loss. There's a couple. But again, look at these numbers. These are huge, right? This is back into last year. So look at all that green. It's a sea of green. And the reason why is because these daily signals are very powerful. The DPC helped me navigate a lot of that information by telling me which signals did the best at what times. And if you click on one of them, look at this. This is what Michael was talking about earlier. He was able to look at him, for instance, the auto USD, to say, what was the pip ratio? Could he choke up and get into one that's higher? And the answer was yeah, because it was 43 plus pips, and he was only coming up 20 pips. So he had a very high rate of success on that particular. The chat room. The chat room is huge. Look at this. This is incredible. There's 13 people in there right now participating, But I want you to look at this number on my screen. I don't think some of you can see it on yours, but because I'm Kraft is the owner. But I want you to see this. There's 41 people watching this screen right now, watching this chat room, if you will. There's a ton of people in the room, and they're all doing their thing, sharing data, sharing information. Brian Morris, you are a rock star, buddy. I'm glad to see that you became a senior. Welcome aboard. But there's a lot of people in this room, and listen, even if you look at these 41 people as being here and making it work, and everybody that has a name by senior is being a success with the process and learning it and using it, and with Michael's success and many more, and us having over 1,500 people in this network, I'm pretty sure you found the place to be, right? Here's the news section. Here's the old chart system that we're going to be removing here in the next day or so. Okay, so there's a tremendous amount of information in there. Oops. So with the chart system, or I'm sorry, and then there's a journal platform. And what the journal system is something that you create. It's a tool we teach you how to use. And what that does is that it provides you with a breakdown. Okay, we start to show you how that you can take the trades that you do from the signals and learn which ones that you're taking, which ones are not, which one work for you. You know, it basically it itemizes your trader's mind on what works and what doesn't work for you, right? And Michael, was using the journal, was it a tool for you? Was it probably at what level was that tool utilized for you?
It really gave me perspective and direction I was going in. I was actually able to see all my trades after I made them, other than just okay, next. I can see what I'm doing. I can see where I can make where you showed me where I can make my differences and get a better percentage back in the beginning.
And when you make mistakes,
You can see them.
you can see them quickly, can't you?
Yes.
And you can itemize that. Because
Yes.
when you don't have this, you're speculating. And in this market, speculation is never left to a certainty. Okay? Speculation is one thing that could hurt you quickly because you don't know. And I hate not knowing. So using a journal system will protect you with that. Plus, let me tell you something right now, folks. Mike using this journal and the 50 or 60 other people that are using the journal system that I have access to, I have access to all of them. Why? Because I take this information and I compile it. And I look at the success rates and I look at the win ratios and I look how people are trading. And what do I do with that information, Michael?
You compile it in the data processing center, and that helps us at a later time when the same situation comes around.
Yeah, but I also make better and fix better. I make things that, you know, I make different programs, I make different systems that will help us trade better from every angle, knowing that every single one of them, every single one of these, every single person that's putting this in is a different style of individual trader. So we're able to use that. Okay. Another is the support, of course, the charts. And again, I won't go too much into it, but listen, using the charts, it will help you arrive to better filters, but don't become so dependent on them that they end up hurting you, okay? Use them to help protect yourself and to kind of gain knowledge of why the signals do what they do. Help to spot when you can start growing yourself. Now, there's going to be some master trading level stuff that we're going to be doing that I'm already starting to work with Paul with, and we'll soon be working with Michael with. To help train him in different ways to trade as well, above and beyond. But listen, you know, all that technical stuff we talked about before, you know, not everybody's cut out for that stuff. But once you get your foundation on, you can become very successful in trading with that. Technical trading is a very responsive way of trading. Is it cut out for everybody? And the answer is no. But once you get it down, once you get the basics down, you begin to see why all these things start making sense. All right, let's get on. The support chat. The support chat that's on the website, on every single website, like this one right here, which is Dex Trader System, when it says online, it means that people are in there for support. Why is this a tool? Well, if time equals money, and you have a bunch of time that you're spending trying to find out where the heck do I open that program up at, or what do I do now, or any of it, if you're wasting any time with that and not jumping into support chat to find out what you do, then you're not utilizing your tools properly. So use them. That's what they're there for. You can also use the chat room to ask other people, of course, that have elite or senior by their name. But listen, the people inside the support chat will know where everything is at. Okay, and that's the biggest thing. Consults. Whew. Are consults worth it? Anybody in a room have a consult here with me yet? If you have, I hope I was able to give you some sort of benefit to learning what you needed to do and not to do. And if they are worth it, just taking a few moments to talk to a trader that's made it, gotten to that point, gotten to that availability to understand who you are as a trader because somebody has seen it, that somebody knows. They know your pain, they know your variances, they know where you're heading, that know the pathway, that know all the rules to the game, right? And that's what you have to really understand is that people like Michael, who are now starting to do consults, they're not talking because they built the program. They're talking because they made it through it and they're successful with it. Michael started to do his consults today with other people. And holy crap, he's really good at them. He asked me in the very beginning, hey, could you give me a couple pointers to put? And I told him I couldn't do that because his consult was going to be so unique to him that he needed to just talk to the people that he was talking to, right? He just needed to tell them who he was and what he had done to get there. I didn't need to feed him a script or anything else because that would be fake, wouldn't it, Mike? And I don't think Mike's here.
No, I heard.
Oh,
Sorry about that.
okay. But I don't think, so what do you think? Do you think that that would have been more fake for you if you're like,
I,
welcome to the
yeah,
consult. How
no,
can I
you're
help
right.
you?
You're
Yeah.
the way I did it today was definitely the way I would have appreciated it happen to me, just like you did it to me.
Right.
But I knew coming up, I knew every question that was going to be asked of me today by
Right.
the gentleman that was with me,
Right.
and he had concerns. I've been through the concerns.
Right.
He goes, what about this, and how do I improve on this, and had the
Right.
answers.
Brad Beckham asks, how much is a consult?
Oh,
15
Brad.
easy payments in 1995. The consult, it should be, you should ask, how much is it if you don't do it?
Right.
It's absolutely free. And the reason why we make them always free is because it's important for me for you to become successful at this. If you say, I want to be a pro trader, I want to do this from home, I want to make this a business for myself, I will do whatever I can do. The people that I trust to put into that position, like Michael and a handful of others that are coming, I trust they'll do the same. They'll be there for you. So some are like, boy, you're wasting time. You could charge a couple $100 an hour for doing that kind of stuff. Well, no. Yeah, you could. But wouldn't it defeat the purpose? Why put an extra value on top of that? Is my time worth it? Yeah. But I'm hoping that you use that time. A very large percent of people that I've had consults with, they stay. They're here. They become more. They get through the system. That success is there. So if you haven't scheduled one yet to talk to me or to Mike, uh, please do so because it's worth it. It's a big tool. The training itself, um, I really do think that the training, and I know a little bit, it's a little bit everywhere at the moment. We're trying to get everything on board. We're waiting for little bits and pieces of Dex Trader to finish. Dex Indicators got ramped just a little bit. Um, but the trading, most of the videos, every video that I do, I keep in mind one thing, and that's length of period of time and information that's in it. I don't know how many of you have ever gone to another training system that you sit there and the guy's like, so welcome to the webinar. And today we're going to talk for the next 3 hours with the availability of,
I know
I'm
exactly what
terrible.
you're talking
I'm
about.
terrible. I'm very terrible. But I get made fun of all the time and by these people. So I'm making a little bit of fun back. But I know that one thing's for sure. I don't think you'll ever get bored in my training. It's sweet and to the point, and you'll always know where to go to get that information if you ever need to go back again. So I'm hoping that they do you well. And I'm not trying to be modest, but I really do hope that my skills of learning how to train and teach people are enough to that you get the information in and out, right? And that's where we get a lot of our compliments. It's sweet and to the point, and I get a lot of impact from it. So that's good. But that is a tool for you. And if you're not using it correctly, if you're not learning how to use it and start to teach yourself, then you're not using your tools correctly. So start to use your tools. This will help cut your pathway to your success a hell of a lot faster. Um, the next biggest tool and process to the pathway is something that a lot of people forget. That when you first start out with a new system, you should be training in that system. And is training with a new system, does that mean you're using your live money? No. Why would you use live money? Nadex has a demo account system. If you're trying something brand new, you better believe I'm going to be testing, hey, I got to go see if this thing's going to work. If I traded live money every time I tested something, I have this little thing. There's a little pet peeve. There's just a couple of individuals that say this to me all the time. They hit the YouTube channels a lot, right? And I try to pull the comments down because I don't like all the negativity bullshit out there, right? People just hitting you in the face because they want to be a troll. Screw you. I'm busy. I'm working, right? But but sometimes I get this person who always finds my demo account one, and he goes, "You only have $23,000 in there, and you've only tested." Yeah, you're right, buddy. I only got 23,000. So if you're so successful, why is it only 23? Why is it like a million? One, I don't trade everything I do in demo. Two, when I test new things, when I do videos, when I show demo, I test a tremendous amount of things. I'm talking when I first started, I blew through a demo. I had to call Nadex 3 times and ask them to put more money back. Because remember, I'm not Mr. Zen Trader from the beginning, right? I once put like 100 contracts on every time because I'm trying to make it look and feel so great to me. It makes me feel so good. Screw you. Guess what? It's all fake. You might as well go play Monopoly. You want to feel good about yourself with a lot of money in your pocket? Go play Monopoly. But it really came down to that I was testing so many things. And I was always testing like 20, 30 contracts in. But I found out really fast that really I only need to train with one contract. Okay. Because if I'm not going to be trading live with 50, 60, 70 contracts, why am I pretending with why am I not using just one contract? I can imagine what that contract will look like when it's double, triple, quadruple, 10 times, right? That's why I tell all my people when you first start out, use one contract. Do you see this? Here, let me show you this. This is what we call maturity is. And maturity in trading and learning how to trade. These are live trades, so I can't show this one. Let me see. Where's it? Here? Yeah, this one's it. But this is Michael's 1 hour trade. Or sorry, let me see if I find his 5 minute. Here's Michael's 5 minute trade series win. This is the second one he did. All right, here's the first one he did. This is I think, no, that's the 25th. He started on the 17th. Too many buttons. Demo. There it is. Here it is. When he first started out, look at this. This is on the 17th of October, right? This is what, 2 months ago?
Mm-hmm.
Does anybody realize that Michael became a success through the process, through the networks, became a partner, all within 2 months? That's about right. From when you started here, but you really started where? When did you really start? Was it August?
August, right?
No.
And
Yeah.
but not really until September because I was DJing 7 nights a week.
Oh yeah. That's right. So, but you really, this is when you first started trading with the 5 minutes when I told you, hey, you got to buckle down and get disciplined. So let's just pretend everything prior to was like him faking himself still with that chip on his shoulder, right? So he started on the 17th training, got through it. But look, he trained with one contract on a piece, not 5 or 6, not 20 or 30. Come on. Because it's real easy just to scroll all the way down the bottom and look at this $2,147 and say, you know what? If I trained that well doing that and I got just one contract apiece, what's 2 contracts to me? 4,000. What's 3 contracts? 6,000. Come on. It's easy to look at it that way. But guess what? Big wins don't always happen. So when you lose big, right? When you got 50 contracts on, that minus $4,000 sitting in your account now, you're like, yeah, that hurts.
One of those was your fault, by
the
way.
Right. Yeah, I know.
It was really 99-1, but
right. Oh, it was 99-1. Yeah, okay, whatever. Blame me. Yeah, I'm the one who forced you to trade it, right? Okay, so one of them was my fault.
Yes.
So you had 99-1 during the webinar. Okay, so listen, here's what we have. You have yourself training in demo. What does it take for you to become consistent, right? Because you got to do this for about a month, right? If you're going to be trading 1 hour trades, you're going to trade this for about a month. Okay. If you want to get to a fast rate, jump over to Dex Indicators, learn how to use the trend reverse and 5 minute system and trade 5 minute trades, right? And get yourself to that point where you'll do this in about a week, right? unless you're Michael Ficca and you do it in 3 days. Okay, but still, you can. I don't even know what that was. I think that was Greek. Sorry. Okay, you're going to do it in about a week, right? But listen, if you're going to be trading the dailies, it's going to take you about 2 months, right? Maybe three. But listen, learning how to do this in demo, learning how to do the process, get to about 100 to 200 trades is very important because you get the repetition down, but also things they start to absorb into you. Okay, you start to absorb the entire solution, and you're able to see things that you normally would have to be made aware of. You start to see them as like you would breathe, like you'd be breathing. You start to see and feel the trend. You start to see and feel when the trend becomes counterproductive. You start to see and feel how the price moves with it, knowing when to get in, when not to get in. Once you become consistent, okay, to get to about 100 and 200 trades. Now, how do you track that? Do you remember the tool, the journal? That's how you track it. When you get to about 80% or above, and you should be above 80%, if you're not above 80%, you're missing something. There's something wrong, right? Nobody I've ever trained whatsoever that became successful, not one single person ever came in and was like, I want 100% of all my trades ever. It never happened. So you're going to be above 80%. And I know the people that are below 70%, below 80%, so they're missing something. So we need to find out what that is. You're getting it wrong. You're doing something and it's not your fault to a degree, right? It is your fault because you're doing them, but there's something that's missing. And trust me, once we find out what that is, I kind of tweak that to figure out where did that happen? Does he miss training? Did it happen? Sometimes we're so confused and with all the other stuff that's out there, sometimes life gets in the way. Who knows? Whatever the reason is. But I'm serious. You have to do this particular type of workload to be able to get to that line of success that you're looking for. If not, you're just faking yourself. Another big question, when do I go live? This is another huge thing along your pathway of your success of when do I go live? Everybody's like, all right, I've done 7 trades. I've won 6 of them. I'm ready to go live. No, you're not ready to go live. Why? Because live will eat you. It will eat you up. Because, and I'm not gonna name any names.
Guilty. Go ahead.
Okay, I can name Michael, but it wasn't just Michael. There's other people in the room that I know, that I personally know that went live premature, or they went live and their life changed a little. Their mentality changed. They were trading in such a fashion that they were following the rules and making it happen. If you want to say who you are in the room, that's okay. They were trading in the process. Brian Bonner, Dr. Brian Bonner, yes, Dr. Paging, Dr. Brian Bonner, yes, Doctor. But you are one of them, yes. And there might be someone. There he goes. There it is. There's Ken. And it's not a bad thing because listen, going live, there's a veil over live, by the way. Folks.
A lot of respect for you guys for owning up to that.
Right. That takes a lot. Thank you very much. But there's a veil over live. And what happens is that veil gets masked by an anticipation, a little bit of greed, and a sprinkle of overconfidence, right? And if you happen to lose within your first 5 trades of going live, there is something that happens to you. Let me see if I can find it here. There's something that happens to you, like on this gentleman's thing here. He lost his first 2, and then something happened. He bent over completely backwards, stuck his head all the way up his ass, and accidentally traded 5 contracts apiece. And hey, it worked out.
In all defense, I was going back to demo, and yeah. I didn't realize I was still alive.
Whatever the excuse is, buddy. But we had it out, and we had the come to Jesus meeting right here, right? We yelled. I don't yell at people, but I talk sternly to them. But the system true is all about that there is a veil over live. Now, in order to combat that veil, I tell you instantly that you have to have a few things ready before you go live. First thing is that you have to have that consistency before you do. You can't be just in trading 7 and say, okay, I got 6 or 7 on, let me try it, right? No, you have to put that 100, 200 trades in to get it figured out, to make sure you're 100%. And if you're unsure, well, who thinks in the room, if what can you do if you're unsure if you should go live? What is one thing you can do that would take 2 or 3 button pushes to make sure? Let's see if people have been paying attention. Slam your hand in the door and don't do it again. That's right. Eddie Perfect. I hope I wonder if that's the Eddie. Eddie's been putting the consult in for like in our other system, and we all thought he was crazy. We're like, what you don't have a consult with us. And apparently he did. See, it was in the old system. But yes, a consult. Hit it right on the head, right? Slammed his hand right in the door. Yes, a consult. A consult will help you understand a few things, and I'll talk to you about here in a second. Okay. But a few things that will help you understand is that have you met your consistency success? Do you have your financial affairs in order? Now, why is that an important thing on how much you need to plan for, how much you're going to be trading with? Do you know your risk management plan? All that stuff. We're going to ask you what your plan is, right? Your live plan. That's right. Because you've trained, you've earned, you've gotten to this point. Now you need to know how much you want to make is one of the steps. It's not the only, but it's one of them. Okay, because you need to know where you're going. You need to know what your goal is, right? And then you need to know how much you have for your balance, because your balance is going to help set your volume in the very beginning. Okay, on how many times you can trade, because you're going to use a risk balance, because you want to know how much you have. So if you only have $1,000 to trade with, you know that you can only trade one contract at a time at that point. And if you have $8,000 to go with, we try to teach you that there's a way of trading called the incremental crawl, right? The IC, the incremental crawl. And we need to Bernie Murray says I need to make $147 a month. That is very cute, buddy. That is very cute. You need to break even. Is that what it is? Thank you. But your consistency level has to be at such a rate that this $800 increment that we teach you has a reason why it's there. You have to get your consistency down. But in your first, like if you have $8,000, you should be trading with one. If you're brand new about to go live, you should be trading with one contract. Can anybody tell me why you should only trade one contract? Except Michael. 10% of your balance. No. Because if you had $8,000 in your account, you could actually trade more. Risk management could be a thought of it. It is part of risk management. But even though, let's say you have a balance of $8,000, right? And you could actually trade 10 contracts at this point safely, right? But if you're just starting out live, would you trade 10 contracts right off the bat?
No.
The answer is no. Because in order to combat the veil of going live, you should trade one contract and get through the live veil. This is where you beef up, because listen, just as you built up your confidence through training and trades and demo, you need to build up your confidence in trading in live. And if you don't think, and I don't care how much money you have, Dr. B, I don't care how much money you have, Michael Ficca, I don't care how much money you have, Max, if you don't build up your ability to trade in live, you will fail. And it may not be today, it may not be tomorrow, but you will fail eventually because you won't have the thick skin of losing trades. Okay, you won't have the availability to know what to do when your shit goes south. Okay, and in the very beginning, if you trade in this incremental crawl, here's what's going to happen. Your day one trade system, right, is that you're trading with the lowest amount possible, one increment, right? So you're trading about $22 a contract. $20 to $22 a contract. You'll pull back about 20 bucks after fees, right? And you do this until you meet the amount of $800 profit, right? It doesn't matter if you got $8,000 in there. When you get to $8,800, okay, if you started out with $8,000, you get to 8,800 bucks. This increment right here, you put second contract on, right? And watch what happens. Then you're getting about $44 worth of profit, right? Then when you get to 96, because it'll be another $800, right? Another increment of $800. When you get to 9,600, you add your third trade on. And what this does is you build up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Once you get to the point where you're making the money that you wanted to make to meet your goal, right? And you've added your volume because you have your consistency. Once all that happens, let's say the $8,000 and you're trading 10 contracts, okay? And you have this happening now. Once you got to find that balance, which we call the bleed off, where you skim, you take off over it, right? So anything that's over $8,000 a month, if this is what you're starting out with, and you've gotten to 10 contracts and you're trading 10 contracts, right? For me, anything that I make in my corporate account, for me personally, my personal account, anything that I have over the $8,000, I draw off. So if I have $9,600 at the end of the week, I draw off 1,600, right? To get it back to 8,000. In my case, I draw off once a month anything that's over the 8,000 I created as a dividend for myself from a point of view, and then that's my salary for me. Okay, so in order to be able to get to this incremental crawl, you have to start somewhere. Now, some of you may want to cheat that. You may want to, start out with 1,600 and trade with one, and then maybe get up to $400 extra, and then trade it up to another two, and get to that point. That's fine, but you have to take responsibility for that risk as you go. If you are if you're beefier and you know how to handle it and you can handle it better, you might be different. I'm telling this to the people that have never traded, that you're worried about that money. You're worried about, hey, I'm putting in $2,000 of my money and this is really difficult for me. You have to be prepared for that. If not, if you don't take it in this incremental crawl process, you will suffer. You may not fail, but you will suffer because you will get this next thing that happens to you. Okay. You will get the, your money's now, you see it now, it's gone kind of thing, right? In this case, once you get to that point where you've gotten to those 10 contracts and you're really making it now, what do? Okay. You've gotten this down. Your consistency is powerful. You increase your volume, you become involved, right? A lot of people worry, what happens, like if my goal is $4,000 a month that I want to make, or 147, Bernie, okay? You need to do 10 trades a month for that, by the way. 8 trades a month. That's all you got to do. So you're going to be very easy. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Pay us 147 bucks and you've got it. But listen, the process here, if you're trying to get to $4,000 a month, and you get to that point, let's say after a month or two, you're finally in it, you got your $4,000 a month, you're like, wow, that was easy, right? And let's say you've done 20 trades to be able to get to that point, right? How do you get to $8,000? Do you do 40 trades? No. You just add more volume because you got it consistent. Just keep doing the same 20 trades. Add the contract. Stop out at a certain point. Yeah, well, let me tell you, you may not want to be trading 50, 60 contracts at a time. You might get headhunted. Who knows? Right? Trading 50 contracts at a time, you might not be able to get out at certain times, but you're not scalping, so you're setting and forgetting. So you could really start to build up your momentum, but don't start off with that. Build up to it. Get that next level on and create this as your base. You traded your 20 contracts, but you traded this with 10, and now you're trading this with 20 contracts. And then you get up to this level and you've worked a month after month to get to that point and keep adding on. And now you're making 20, 30, 40, $50,000 a month. Can you do that? Yeah. Can you live that laptop lifestyle? The answer is yes. It can happen. I haven't done it yet because I got to be honest with you. I'm very happy with my $5,000 to $6,000 a month in trading. I really am. But do I want to build my account up more? Because listen, you're not going to have $8,000 in your account if you're trading 20 contracts. You got to have 16. You want to trade 40? You got to have 32. Do I want to build it up to that point? Yes. On a corporate account, for me personally, I don't want to do that because I stay under the radar when it comes to taxes on my stuff because I don't want to be making more than $100,000 a year for my tax bracket. But for me personally, that's a whole nother kit and caboodle that we got to talk about later on. Okay. So in order to increase your volume, become more involved, right? After you increase your volume, you start making things happening, become more involved, pay it forward. We call it the Trade It Forward program here. And it means that you help other people as you're building. Also, we may have investment portfolio systems that you might want to be involved in. There's a whole bunch of other things. You're going to learn more about yourself through the practice of things. Okay. And of course, you have to enjoy yourself. Don't forget, we're doing this for a reason, right? To create a lifestyle for ourselves, to work, to get to become more for our families. We're staying at home, we're working more, we're doing whatever we're doing. But once you get to that level out process, you've met your goal and you're just traveling on that highway now. You just need to kind of sit back and enjoy yourself sometimes too. Take your vacation, plan your vacations, plan the time with your family, do those things. Find those hobbies that make you happy. Because trust me, once you get to a point where the amount of work that you do yields you an amount that you're happy with, and makes you feel good, get you to that point that all these things are worth it, there's nothing like it. I'm a success. In my world, I'm a success because I've gotten to that point. Now, I'm standing on top of this hill yelling at all of you, okay, that this is what you have to do to get there. And it's not because I'm telling you because somebody else has told me, and I'm still figuring it out. People like Michael, people like Ken, like Brian Bonner, Dr. Brian Bonner, other people in here that are using the system, that are in there practicing, getting to those levels. Paul Davies, myself, we're proof that it's there. You just need to follow in those same footsteps. And we're here to help you all along the way. For those people that are here that hadn't bought in yet, here's a present for sitting through my winded webinar tonight. And it's Dex Save 50 is the coupon that you put in when you want to buy, either in Dex Trader, Dex Signals, or Dex Indicators. Dex Indicators and Dex Signals are $147 a month. And you take $50 off that first month, you're going to get $97. That $97 that you're going to have to pay is going to be worth every penny of that time in there of training with the system. In Dex Signals, you can go and join the system for free and learn about all the processes in there before actually getting the signals. So you can go learn that stuff. That's okay. We don't mind telling you that. We're not afraid of the free people within our network. We have 1,500 members in this network. We have more than several hundred people paying. And there's a bunch of you that are still in the room using the free stuff, and that's okay. We pulled the free signals a while ago because they were just too powerful. People weren't moving along to actually make it work. They were using their one signal a day and applying CVG to it. So they were still making money with the free system. So we said that, hey, look, this stuff really depends on us becoming more profitable, and that's what we had to do. So if you want to get in a Dex Trader, though, you're going to want to get in quick because phase 2 is releasing here very quickly. And it's going to have to get up into excess past the $200 margin. We're at 197 right now. So you take off the $50, you're at 147. Okay. So if you really want to be a part of something bigger than yourself and be a part of a network that can help you grow, and in fact, like everybody here could actually start to become more and more involved in this network and be investors in this program, in this company. And there's plenty of room. There's many, many, many things that we're building. We're not just we're not just a signals company. We're an investment firm. We invest and build marketing platforms. We're building one right now called OurCityGoGo.com. We're building other things involved as well for marketing. We're building new systems for programs and our systems themselves for doing data control. News devices that check data on 15, 16 different levels. What's coming more for Dex Trader? The Forex program. These are all things that will be made available to you, the investors, the people that started with us. So if you haven't bought in yet, do so. If you're here supporting us on these webinars every night, I want to thank you for all of your time. If you're watching this after the fact, I want to thank you for getting to the end here. And I wish you all the best of luck. Everybody else in the room, stick around. Everybody who's watching this after the fact, thank you very much. Michael, thank you for being here tonight.
Thanks for having me, Max.
Michael's also going to be starting his own webinar series too, We're not sure what it's going to be called yet, but it's coming soon. So keep in mind that there's a lot of great stuff. People like Michael that can advance the programs and get their own series, get all these own things. Um, I can't thank him for enough for his resolve and getting through everything and putting up with me. But it's been a wonderful process. Everybody have a great night. Everybody in the room, stick around. Everybody that's watching this after the fact, thank you very much and trade well. I'm Max and this is Dex.